What's going on, guys? So today I'm pretty excited to show a gravity knife. This is a knife that I have not had in many years. I want to get one back in the collection. I've never actually had like a high quality gravity knife. This one is made over in Seiki, Japan, but you know, it's an 80s style. It's still kind of cheaply made. But yeah, I mean, gravity knives, it's just one of those things. We all hear about them. A lot of the younger viewers probably never even seen one, all right? It's definitely a design of yesteryear. It's not something that's super common. Unfortunately, it's like so focused on as being like extra illegal. I have no idea why. Gravity knives are not allowed in so many places. And again, kind of like automatic knives and Balisongs and stuff, they're just scary. But they're not even scary now to society. They were scary way back in like the 50s, and that's when they set the laws. And because of politics, since the 50s, we just haven't changed those laws because politicians don't get anything from it. The general public don't want dangerous, scary looking weapons to be more accessible to us. That wasn't an appropriate time to quote. But anyway, you know what I'm saying. It's dumb, okay? It's just like with the gun stuff. If you look at knife statistics, most people stabbing and slashing people because they're crazy use cheap kitchen cutlery, okay? They're not going out and buying expensive collectible knives to kill people or even attack them. It's just not a thing. I've never in my entire life have seen any story revolving a stabbing or slashing or killing with a knife, and the knife has been more than like $100 ever in my entire life, all right? Now, a lot of people out there who collect really expensive knives are crazy. Now, of course, that goes completely against what society would think. If you take a random non-knife person, you say, this guy has 500 knives, they would think, wow, he's probably crazy. It's quite the opposite. The guy with no knives is crazy, and then he grabs one from the kitchen and does something nuts. But anyway, all the politics and dumb laws aside, finally have a gravity knife to show you on camera. This one's pretty interesting. Before we get into that, you're wondering why that's in the background. This is actually part of the same trade. So I traded for this gravity knife as well as this Tinker. And what makes this Tinker kind of special is this was from the 2017 Boy Scouts National Jamboree. This was actually the Boy Scout Jamboree that Donald Trump had did a speech at, which was really interesting. You can actually watch the whole thing on YouTube if you're interested. Just type in 2017 Jamboree Trump. And when he said he had like a Tinker from the Jamboree, I thought that was really interesting because I happen to collect specifically Boy Scout knives and Girl Scout knives. So this is just an interesting addition to that collection. All right, so you can see the tools obviously in this one. And it's a regular Tinker, just happens to be printed with the Jamboree, and the front says the rocks and has kind of a silhouette of someone rock climbing, which is kind of cool. Like I said, Boy Scout related, which I like, but I mean, the knife itself is not anything super special or anything. You can get this for 20 bucks, 25 bucks. So, back to the important thing, the gravity knife. All right, so first, it's cool it does have the original box. You can see classical elegance. All right, very Japanese styling, I guess, on the box, because that's where it was made. The end says patent PK-310. Other side says the same. And that's pretty much it. So, let's put the box off to the side. All right, take a look at it. So what is a gravity knife, right? A gravity knife is a knife in which you can use gravity to open it. So I turn this upside down and I push the button, the blade comes out, right? It slides out. Now, when you want to close it, it's the opposite. So all this is doing, this mechanism, right, by pushing this in, is releasing inside the blade to be able to freely move. So if I push the button and it's sideways, nothing happens. Why? Because gravity is not pulling it out or in. So the idea is that if you kind of have this knife to your side and your arm's just hanging, you know, you can just push the button and the blade will come out and then you're ready for action. At least that's what, you know, the very scared civilization think, the sheep out there, right? All the sheeple. They think, oh my God, you're just gonna be standing at your side and I'm just gonna be at the bank and I'm just trying to take money out of the Mac machine and all of a sudden, your gravity knife comes out, No, that's not what's gonna happen. In fact, it's a pretty inferior design. When this is out like this, if I were to put a good amount of pressure on this, it would probably collapse and would override the mechanism that's on the inside, all right? It's not a very super well-made knife, you know? Obviously, we relate Seiki City, Japan, you know, to quality and stuff, and most of the stuff is quality, but this was produced like in the 80s. They were still around in the very early 90s. But this is not like a very commonly used knife, all right? When this is fully open, you can see there's blade play, up and down, well, actually up and down this way, right, and left and right. So depending on how you're looking at it, right? So I always, when I say up and down, I'm always talking about this. So up and down, left and right. You could definitely cut something, all right? Once it takes up the slack, obviously it's gonna cut through. You see the blade here says Eagle, stainless steel. These were produced in 440C. It's a 3.25 inch blade, all right? 4.3 inches long when it's closed. And I mean, if you really wanted to use this, what I would do is I wouldn't let it open all the way. If you put in just a hair, it actually is way stiffer, all right? So there's way less play, even though there's play, all right? So the further far you go down, like if you only need an inch or so, this is actually extremely usable. It looks kind of dumb because you only have a little bit of blade poking out, but it's more stable, all right? So you can do your cuts. Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's an interesting knife. It's cool, right? It's a cool concept. There's definitely very well-made ones. This is actually a copy of a different design from Soligen, Germany. If you look up Anton Wingen Othello, there's a gravity knife that's extremely similar to this, so I'm considering this to be a copy of that well-made one. There's tons of them from earlier years that are actually high quality. There's pretty good quality gravity knives out there, but they are few and far. Not only are they hard to find, they're extremely expensive because they're people who just collect these things. And again, it's just, they're not available because they're illegal so many places. Here in Pennsylvania, I'm not allowed to have this. Well, I'm allowed to own anything I want, let's make that clear. But I'm not technically supposed to walk around in public with this. This is an illegal knife, all right? A tool, which it just makes no sense. Like I said, I can use a butter knife that's sharpened and it'll be way more effective, way more dangerous than this thing ever will be. But it is what it is. But yeah, pretty interesting. These were originally 60 bucks, obviously long discontinued, so the value is pretty much whatever wants to pay for it. But yeah, it's a really, really cool knife. I love gravity knives. I love to trade for more gravity knives. It's just something you can't just go to the store and buy, you know. There are some, you know, outlets online to buy them, but again, a lot more collectible, a lot more higher quality ones from who knows, you know, how many years ago. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's really cool. But like I said, this particular one, it's all novelty. This is just for my interesting mechanisms collection, excuse me. I'm not gonna, you know, carry and use this. This one's brand new, all right? Never been used. There's no sign of wear on it or anything like that. But yeah, it's fascinating. So if you've never seen a gravity knife, you keep hearing that term all the time, and I do get these messages like, oh, what's a gravity knife? I don't think I've ever seen one. Well, this is what it is. They almost always have some kind of button that you depress. You can see there's a spring. All right, so that's keeping resistance. So you have to, you know, go against the resistance, excuse me, to push down. When you push down, you're just releasing the blade. So literally it will slide out or slide in. It's that simple. But obviously when you release the button, all right, is when it will lock back onto the blade. So pretty cool. Nowhere near as dangerous as people make them out to be, but it is what it is, right? Maybe in the future there'll be you know, some law changes, but I just don't see it happening anytime soon, unfortunately, because again, politicians don't have anything to gain from it. All right, let's say your town or city has 50 people who love knives and want gravity knives. Well, they have 50,000 people who think these are scary. So the politician's not going to get extra votes by making these more accessible to me and you, unfortunately. And that's just how it works. So that's pretty much it. So gravity knife, let me know down in the comment section if you guys have any gravity knives in your collection. And if you do, what do you have? I'd love to hear about it. But like I said, in the future, I'd love to just trade for more, particularly like a better quality design I can actually use a little bit, you know. I've had a couple gravity knives very similar to this. I had a couple that had issues with them. It's the only reason I ended up getting them because people, you know, threw them in trade because they didn't know what to do with them. But I wasn't able to fix them properly and so forth. I've seen quite a few at gun shows and knife shows and stuff. But again, just the prices are through the roof because they're just hard to find. So that's all. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you tomorrow with, that's right, another video. I make one every day. So see you tomorrow, guys.